first class for this, right? So yesterday we had a session, and this is the second session. Okay, so I'm just checking in if there were people from the.
This is my first session, ma'am.
Sorry.
This is my first session.
Yeah, this is your first. Looks like a lot of these people are, have come for this class for the first time. Yesterday we had a session, and I don't see any. Yeah, I see one or two of them who were there in the last class, but maybe I think just a few are. So I had given all the introduction and everything yesterday, so I don't want to repeat myself. I'll start talking about what today's session is supposed to do. Okay. I'm just going to share the screen with you. Just confirm with me if you can see it or not. Is the screen visible to all of you?
Yes,
ma'am. Whole screen,
Oh.
PowerPoint.
Oh, all right.
Ma'am, what is meaning of POD?
POD is online degree program. Okay. So yesterday's class, the discussion was mostly on development of the paragraph. So like I discussed yesterday, the basic writing skills will not include the very basic construction and all that. That part is assumed for this class, that you understand those things. What we are going to look at is about the building block. It is basically the sentence, and how do you place and organize sentence is what we are more concerned with. Placing, organizing sentences together eventually gives you paragraphs. And in writing, when you talk about writing, the first part that comes to us is, a well written, a well phrased, an effective paragraph, right? That's what the first thing that comes to us. We had a quick discussion on the development aspect of paragraph yesterday. We had a few activities done as well. So today's session, for people who have joined today, just to quickly tell you, the sessions will be, will have a two-part, organization. The first part is the mini lesson. 15 minutes of lecture or small discussion on the topic for that particular session. Okay, and then rest of the time is actually the work time, right? So for today's mini lesson, we are going to be discussing two things. One is, first one is the unity and cohesion aspect in a paragraph. Okay, what do we understand by unity and cohesion in a paragraph? Both of them are very important features that is required to make an effective paragraph, right? So first part would be that. Second, we're also going to talk about a few strategies that are employed by authors in order to write an effective paragraph. Once that's done, in the work time, we have both editing, identification activities, all for coherence. Okay, and the second one will be free writing, which means you're going to write. Okay, how do we do it and how all of those things? I think I will tell you when we start doing the activity. Okay, so for the time being, we're going to discuss the mini lesson part. The first part which I want to discuss is the unity and cohesion. Is the size of the slide enough for you, or do you want me to zoom it a little bit? Is it fine?
Yeah, ma'am, it's fine.
Okay. Yeah, this much should be okay, I think. All right.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so
actually, ma'am, we can zoom or in our Zoom app.
Okay, you can do it, right? So no problem. I don't want to convert this into slideshow because it becomes difficult for me to control other things. So if this is fine for you, then good enough. We'll keep it like this. Then the first two things, right? Unity and cohesion. Now, parts of this, a little bit more in detail will be dealt with in your week 12 of English 1. You will have more detailed explanations on this. So you will find glimpses of the things that we discussed here in those video lectures as well. I told about this yesterday. We're going to carry over the questions that we do here into the practice assignments or the activity questions for that week. So usually we don't have solutions for the practice assignments and other things, but for this particular module, you can utilize these sessions and the answers we discuss here as a solution for the activity questions in week 12. Okay. Okay, so that's said and done. Unity and cohesion, right? What these I told you already, two very important concepts when we discuss paragraph writing, right? First is, of course, the one that we did yesterday, the essential components, the topic sentence, the supporting sentences, and the concluding sentence. After that, once you have the topic sentence, supporting sentences, and everything decided, the next part is you checking whether the unity part of the paragraph is achieved. What is unity? So the aspect of unity refers to the singularity of idea in a paragraph. Mean that a paragraph should only be talking about a single idea. You cannot put in 2-3 different ideas together in a paragraph. If you want to write a good, effective paragraph, a meaningful paragraph, then the suggested method is that you choose a topic, choose the idea that you want to elaborate through it, and stick with that particular idea and the point throughout the paragraph. Do not bring multiple arguments within the same paragraph. Limit it to just one at a time. So this aspect of paragraph of limiting the idea used to a single as unity, or in other words, it ensures the unity of the paragraph. It makes sure that there is good unity in the paragraph when you use only one single idea throughout the whole paragraph, right? Even in the case of essays, so essays which will have more than one paragraph, say 5 to 6 paragraphs, even if you're writing an essay, every single paragraph will have to be treated as a separate entity, and it will have to be ensured that in all these paragraphs you have unity used properly, right? So, which means all of your paragraphs, if you have 5 paragraphs, then you're going to talk about all your different ideas are different paragraphs. If you want to make a comparison paragraph, then that is also possible. But again, the nature of that paragraph is going to change, and unity and cohesion will have to be enabled even for that one, right? So every single paragraph, whether you're writing a standalone paragraph, a single paragraph about something, or if you're writing, say, a larger text like an essay or an article or a research paper, all of them will have to follow this principle of unity. Every paragraph that you write in that article will have to be written using the principle of unity in the paragraph, right? So pointing towards one main idea or singularity of the idea is what unity is. Right? What is cohesion? Cohesion refers to the flow of thoughts in the paragraph, right? Flow of thoughts, by which we mean there should be a good logical connection between the sentences, right, in a paragraph. And if you are writing a longer essay or a longer article, then this should also be between the paragraphs, several paragraphs that you write within the essay. So both between the sentences and between among the paragraphs. Okay, both of the places should ensure that there is cohesion. Cohesion is simply the simple word for cohesion, or the simple meaning for the word cohesion would be logical linking. Just linking. There should be good enough logical linking between the sentences in the paragraph and between or among the paragraphs that you write in a longer text. Okay, that's what cohesion is. Okay. Why do you do that? Because of course, in writing, what is important is a logical continuity, right? There should be a smooth flow from one idea to the other, so that, at the end, it looks like a unified whole. There is some sense that generates out of what you've written. That is the purpose of cohesion in paragraph, right? Now, when you do this arrangement, when you do the linking between sentences and the paragraphs, this linking can happen either spatially or temporally or chronologically, right? What spatially means that you try to arrange or organize your sentences based on the space that it occupies. Spatially is space, right? So say you want to talk about, you want to give instructions to someone about how to reach from the main gate of the campus at IIT Madras to, say, Department of Physics, right? So when you give them directions, when you tell them turn left, right, or move forward, these are all expressions that occupy the spatial um, uh, area of the spatial background of the person that you're talking to, right? So the logical connection can be built along that um, side, like spatially it can be done, or temporally. What is temporally? What is the word temporally? I mean, it is related to time, right? It can be based on the uh, time to, right? As in, this happens at 6 a.m., then followed happening at 9 a.m. or say something happened on Monday, then something happened on Tuesday, right? Temporally basically refers to the time axis, right? Any arrangement that happens along the time axis is also possible to show logical connection between the sentences. And the last one you see chronologically. So temporally and chronologically, they are different from each other. Do not confuse. People might want to think that even chronologically is time, right? But chronologically is not as much related to time as is temporally. Chronologically, right? So when I talk about time, it does not have to be always in order, right? That is not necessary. I can simply talk about time without caring too much about the order and sequence. Whereas in chronological, what the main purpose is to arrange your information or arrange your sentences on the basis of an order or a sequence, right? So there are several other possible, arrangement possible here, but the major three arrangement of sentences in order to ensure logical continuity would be to arrange the sentences in a spatial convention or a temporal convention or chronological convention. Okay, understand this point? Any
Ma'am, I did not understand the spatial.
spatial is, the space that you occupy as you talk about, right? So the example I have given is to give directions to someone, right? Or say you're talking about somebody, you're talking to someone about how you reach the um, counter for getting the boarding pass at an airport from the main gate of the airport, right? So
Some
you would
minor
say that,
intricacies, some minor
sorry,
details, some minor details.
minor details or major details related to occupy, right? Left, right, forward, backward, right? Next to, adjacent to, opposite to. These are all spatial occupation, right? Yes,
Okay,
no,
ma'am.
over, above, right? Over, above, under. These are all spatial occupation, right? So if you arrange your information based on this, then this is called spatial arrangement of information, right? And this can also create some sort of logic and sense in the person who's reading. Same can happen with time, same can happen with sequence and order. That's all it means. Spatially basically means the space around you, whatever that space is.
Okay, ma'am.
Huh. Okay. Uh, okay. So I hope you understood what unity and cohesion is. Unity is similarity of the linking between these ideas, clearly between the sentences and among the paragraphs if you are writing right? Next comes strategies for linguistics. What can you do to ensure strategies? What can you do to ensure there is a unity in the paragraph, right? Which is the singularity of ideas. How can we ensure that this main idea is maintained throughout and that you don't digress with what you should be writing? The first thing you would do is repeat the keywords, right? The first thing you would keywords, right? There would be one word that continues, right? It would be seen everywhere in the paragraph. It is repeated often, and hence you know that this is the main topic that is being discussed, right? So that is the first strategy. If you tell your reader that this is the main idea, you simply repeat those keywords everywhere in the paragraph, right? Second thing, signpost the sentences using transitional devices. What is signposting? You know what a signpost is, right? When you the road, you see several kinds of signposting, indicating that there's a school here, or indicating that there's an airport here, or there's a bus station here, or there's a subway here, right? Or it's a one way, right? Several sorts of traffic signposts or space signposts, right? A lot of them, or there's a metro ahead, or if there's a construction going on, then they say that there's construction going ahead. Or if you're going to say a restaurant or any other complexes, there are boards put about wet floor, be careful, right? So this is what we call a signpost, right? Uh, in our day-to-day life, we see several kind of signposts like that. So this can also happen in writing. Okay, what is the purpose of a signpost?
To
What
declare something
to declare
special.
something, correct? To declare something, to sort of signal, right? Signal the person that this is something that you're going to see ahead, and if there
To
is
draw
necessary
attention for some specific sentence.
attention, to signal the person, right? All of that is what a signpost would do. In language, when you're writing, in language too, you can use several linguistic devices which can be used as signposts to indicate or let the reader know what they are going to read next. Okay, or at least show them the direction of how the text that they're reading is going to progress. Okay, the three main kinds of signposts that you would see in writing would be the signposts or adding something to what has already been said, that is adding to the idea that you are writing, contrasting to the idea that you have written, or making a conclusion to whatever has been talking about, right? These are the three main signposts that we use in writing: to add, to contrast, to conclude, right? There are again several others, but they will all fall under subsets of adding, contrasting, and conclude. The main three, one would be these, right? Signpost, to add, to contrast, to conclude, right? We refer to them, we call them as transitional devices. They help you transition smoothly sentence to the other or from one paragraph to the next, which is why they're also sometimes referred to as transitional words. Okay, so signposting is done using the transitional words. That is what we mean. Okay. Then repetition of key phrases, transition devices, what do? They help establishing links, like I just mentioned. But one thing that you have to keep in mind is that you should not be repeating the transitional words very often, right? They help you to put your point across clearly without creating confusions and establishing the logical link. But that does not mean that you continuously keep using them. Using too many transitional words can also confuse the reader. So use them only when you think that it is necessary at that moment to introduce them, right? We are going to look at a list of these signposts now, right? Just to quickly tell you, just to show you what these signposts look like, right? So you can using single words, short phrases, or sometimes even whole sentences, which means your transitional devices could be either in the form of a single word or a short phrase, or sometimes a whole sentence. Okay. Look at the examples you have here. Single words, right? Consequently, however, though, furthermore, moreover, firstly, lastly, next. These are all examples of single word transitional devices, right? In contrast to, on the other hand, right? These are examples of, I'm sure you're all familiar with all of these, right? You might have at least one or once in your lifetime come across these things.
Yes, ma'am. In mathematics, we always use the word however.
However, therefore, right? Hence, all of these things are something that you use in maths very regularly. Then the last one, whole sentences. Look at that sentence. The whole of that acts as a signpost. Okay. Look at that to understand what it means. Having looked at the advantages of wearing a mask, the study will verify how long can they be used without ill effects. Right? Look at that. The whole of that sentence acts as a signpost, which means you're going to, it clearly tells you about what the study is going to talk about, right? Having looked at the advantages of wearing a mask, the study will verify how long can they be used without ill effect, which means it's now giving the direction to a reader that until now you have been reading about the advantages of wearing a mask. Now you're going the ill effects of wearing it for a long time, right? So this whole sentence acts as a signpost to the writer. These kind of sentences would usually appear as the topic sentence, the first sentence for the next paragraph. And you'll find these sentences, these kind of signposting usually in longer texts, right? Where you have, where you write about a topic as an essay or an article, right? To show or to tell the reader that now this is what you're going to read. You've been reading this till now. Now we are changing the direction. We are talking about a new thing. Right? So a very good method of, writing proficiently in any language. We only have examples of English here, but these techniques are definitely used, or they can be used for writing in any language. Okay, it's not a problem. You have few examples here, so let's have a look at them. To add more ideas, you may use single word signposts like again, furthermore, in addition, moreover, all of them are helpful. And contrast ideas, alternatively, contrastingly, conversely, whereas, okay. It is good to have, one list like this handy because they really help you to improve on how you write. Next one is to prove something. See, you're trying to prove something, then the signpost you can use include evidently for this reason, because inevitably, these are just examples, okay? None of them are like full list of all of this. This is just to give you an example of how these things work. To show exceptions, how yet in spite of, all these words are usually used when you want to show contrast, right? When you want to tell the reader that, okay, now I'm going to make a change in the direction of what I was talking, right? To indicate a change in the direction of the idea that you have been presenting. Maybe say you were talking positively about something, now you want to talk about the ill effects of something, right? If that is how you're going to present, if there is something like that to present in the data that you want to talk about, then all these signposts like however, nevertheless, yet, in spite, nonetheless, all of them would come handy, right? To repeat or refer back to something as has been mentioned or as has been noted as previously discussed, okay? To show that you will include something later, okay? To indicate that you're going to show something later, include something later. This will be discussed in detail later. These kind of sentences, you'll find very commonly in academic prose when you're writing research articles or research essays, these kind of things, these kind of signposts, if you look at it carefully, the sign, right? It's a full clause. This will be discussed in detail later. These kind of signposts are seen very regularly in research articles and more academic proses. Emphasize something, definitely, obviously, inevitably, undeniably, right? Give an example, for instance, in this case, in particular, notably, okay, for example is like the most commonly used one. So instead of saying for example every time, you can replace it with some of these phrases. Also, another phrase could be a, right? All of this would be examples of, all of these are examples for signposts to give an example. Then the last one here, to show the order of things. Okay, this is chronological arrangement. Previously, following this, initially, subsequently, finally, consequently, next, lastly. Okay, or firstly, secondly, thirdly. All of these could be used to show the order of things or sequence of things. Okay. If you have to show the order of importance, right, then you say things like primarily, or first and foremost, and lastly. So that comes as a subset of this order of things. General words, order of things would be this. Specifically, if you're looking at arranging things in order to indicate, something is more important than the other, then words like really, lastly, or first and foremost, all of those words would be used. Okay. So this is about the short lesson that we had to talk about, right? The first part was about unity and cohesion. Second, about the strategies for unification, and then the aspect of signposting, the importance of signposting or use of transition to form the correct link to ensure that there is cohesion, right? So these transition devices or the act of signposting helps you to bring cohesion, and in turn, cohesion will help you to establish good unity in the paragraph, right? That's the point. Okay. Any doubts or questions you have? Okay, are we good? So
Yes, ma'am.
if that's the case, I'm going to be sharing something else with you. We'll start doing the activity. So see that. Give me a minute. I'm going to uh, just click it. Just give me one more minute. I'm trying to move the. Okay. Do you see the screen now? There's a.
Yes, ma'am. Joinpt.com.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
You can use this link that you have there, the code there. If you don't get it, then I can copy paste the link in here also. I'll anyway leave it there. Just I'll do both. So the link is also there in your chat, so you can access it from there. Okay. To join.
Ma'am, I have joined and I'm seeing activity number 1. And should I have to
Okay.
answer?
Yes, yes, of course. Okay. So this one, this activity, you have 3 of them here, 3 questions under this. And this activity is basically to understand what unity of paragraph means, right? So you have a set of sentences here. So you will read them. And in this paragraph, you will figure out which is the sentence that affects the unity, which means there's one sentence in this paragraph which is irrelevant. to this paragraph, or which is, which stays out of the idea that is presented in the whole of paragraph. So go through this and tell me which 5 you have here should not be a part of this paragraph. Which sentence? Which one among the 5 sentences do you think is a misfit in this whole paragraph and is affecting the unity of the paragraph? Someone says 5, someone says 2. There are 5 people who have joined, I think. So others can also respond to this. Has everyone been able to join, or is there a problem? Because I see more than 5 people. Oh no, I think all of you have. Okay. Hmm. Okay. So we look at the second one if you are done with it. Okay. Only 2 of you have responded. What happened to the others? 3. Okay. You have to pick up the irrelevant sentence, right? If something is irrelevant, then definitely that's going to affect the unity. So you read the sentences and figure out which one is the irrelevant one in the whole of that you see here. Okay, all right. I see four responses. I don't know who has not done. I'm sure you understand what I. Uh, okay, we'll look at the third question now.
Ma'am, we are not getting option to answer the question for this third one.
The options are already there, no? They're all marked as 1, 2, 3, 4, right?
Yes, right, but to answer, there is no button to answer
There
the
is
question.
no field to
Just
answer
type
to write
in
the
the
answer
answer.
in that.
Sorry?
There is no field where we can submit our responses to.
Okay, okay. This one did not have one. Just give me a minute. Let me check. For you to mark the answer, as in no boxes or anything. Is that the case? Can you still see the screen properly?
Your screen is visible, but the field is not present.
What screen do you see? You see the question clearly, no?
Yes, the question is clearly visible on screen and also on website.
Okay, got it.
I think we can answer on chat also.
Acha, yeah, you can do that also, but the next questions require the field. I am wondering whether that is okay. Okay. What happened is I forgot to add the do this. That's all. It should be okay now. I'll just share this one. So I'm going to for a moment so that you can access the new one here. You use this one now. Join this one. You know, there's a new one here. The other one did not have any that I should have added.
Okay, man, we are joining.
Okay. Okay. You're doing the third one. I think that's done. We'll move on to the activity number 2, which is rewriting the following paragraph to make it coherent. Do you have the field to rewrite this? There is a
Yes,
space
ma'am.
available.
We have filled. So we have to write
Okay.
whole sentence or 1, 2, 3.
Yes, I mean, you can, no, not 1, 2, 3. This is to rewrite, right? We are doing a coherence activity, which you will think about signposting and other things. You know, what are the things that you can add in between these um, sentences in order to make this a meaningful, coherent paragraph. Right now, if you read it, there is no much of a linking between these sentences. So you have to use linkers, coherent devices, transitional devices as you feel is fit here to make this paragraph coherent. Okay, you don't have to rewrite everything. Maybe you can just indicate the devices that you would use for each sentences. Okay.
So we have to also move sentences. First sentence should move to last and last to first, like that.
You just see if it is required, you do that, but this is not something that is jumbled or anything. It's mostly to provide coherence, that is linking. I don't think there would be a requirement to move anything.
So we have to use only signpost.
Yes, yes. You have to use signpost and create a linking. Okay. Are we good to go, or do you want me to wait a little more? We'll come back to these responses and say, I think many of you have filled it up. Okay. Now the last one is a pre-writing task. So look at this. You can choose one of see on the screen, which is either a valuable possession or a memorable trip. Okay. And you write a paragraph, right? So it's a free writing task based on the two things that we discussed, right? Which is structure of a paragraph, topic sentence, supporting sentences, and concluding sentence. That and unity and cohesion, keywords, transition, signposts, right? Based on these two things, please write a paragraph, or even if you do not know what topic, sentence, supporting sentences is, it's all right. Just construct a paragraph. Either a valuable possession or a memorable trait. Just take one among these two and write. Your paragraph can have about 5 to 6 sentences. Okay, not required to write more than that.
Valuable possession, what does it mean?
Valuable possession is possession is anything that you have. It could be something that was given to you, or you bought it somewhere. Any object, anything that you've got.
Oh.
Possession. Something that
Okay,
is
I have
yours.
to describe some object which is valuable to me.
Yes, exactly.
Ma'am, is all activity over?
Yeah, this is the last one.
Ma'am, will you be present in conversational practice session?
I am not handling that session. That is done by two other people. Right, so?
Actually, the next class is mine, conversational practice.
Oh, that's right. Okay. I don't know. I usually don't join those sessions, but I'll ask if it is possible. We have been given divided sessions on. So not a problem.
Okay,
Let me check. Okay.
okay, ma'am. So, could I leave session this now?
You can, but we'll be quickly discussing because people are still writing. I'm waiting. Okay. If it is okay, if you have like something to do, you can of course leave, no problem. I hope these are recorded sessions. Maybe if you want, you can watch later also.
Okay, ma'am.
But those of you writing, please finish writing because I'm going with me. We are going to use these things that you have written to work out on other activities that would happen in the next week. Okay. So I will have a version of this, but it would be nice if you can also keep handy what you're writing. So it would be better when we discuss these things, right? Who's done writing? This my trip to Lunar, is it done? Or are you still
Yes,
working on
ma'am,
it?
done.
Okay. And how about this one? A pen? Are you still writing or are you done with it? The person is writing about a pen. Does that mean you're still writing or actually 15 minutes, right? So write 5 to 6 sentences. You don't need more than that. I am okay to wait. I don't have a problem. Don't write there. If it's done, you just tell me it's done. That's all. Okay. Okay, fine. So memorable trip, the first one is done. Second one, writing about, you should have chosen one valuable position and written about it. It would have been easy for you to write down. It's just a simple short paragraph, no? So this person with pen is not telling me. Then you know what we can do is we can go ahead and discuss the previous questions. Actually, let's do it anyways. If you're writing, you can continue writing. You can just listen to what I've said, right? So in this one, I think a lot of most of the people in this particular paragraph on divers in France, what I think the response was 5, right? Let me see. Show okay, 2 with 2 and the last one with 4. Okay, let's check what the answer is. Divers in France have found the old dictator Caesar at the bottom of the river Rhone. The bust was thrown in the river after she was assassinated. The marble bust was found near Arles, which was founded by Caesar. Okay. France's culture ministry said the bust was from 46 BC, the date of the southern town's foundation. The ministry described the bust, which shows a lined face and a balding head, as typical of realist portraits of the Republican era. Now, what is the often repeated word here? What's the repetitive phrase or a word that you see in this? That will guide us to ensure that there is unity, right? If you have to ensure unity, one of the strategy that we discussed was to, repeatedly use the word that you are trying to describe.
I think
Nobody?
first.
Right. Bust of the Roman dictator. That's the whole of the paragraph has been written about the bust of the Roman dictator, right? So any sentence that is not about it, directly about it, is out. That's the answer. So anything that you see here?
The fourth one.
Directly about it, isn't it? Ministry said the bust was from 46 BC, the date of it is directly about it, right? The marble bust was found near Arles, was founded by Caesar, directly about it. Last sentence, the ministry described the bust which shows a line face, again directly about the bust. First one, found the oldest known bust of Roman dictator, directly about it. Second one, bust was thrown in the river after she was assassinated. Does it tell you anything about the bust? No, right? So the second one looks like something that is bust, right? Rest all sentences, they give you information on the bust because that's the main topic. Hmm?
Yes.
But the bust was thrown in the river after she was assassinated does not add, that looks like an irrelevant sentence. And even if you take it out, right? So let's do this. We'll read the paragraph without using the second sentence. Divers in France have found the oldest known bust of Roman dictator Caesar at the bottom of River Rhone. The marble bust was found near Arles, which was founded by Caesar. France's culture ministry said the bust was from 46 BC, date of southern town's foundation. Ministry described the bust, which shows a lion face and balding head, as typical of religious purpose of Republican era. Right? Not adding the second sentence did not make any difference to the paragraph. So this one is irrelevant. That means you can have the paragraph perfectly done without that. And if it is relevant, then definitely it's something that would affect the unity. We can throw it out. If not necessary. The second sentence is what is the one that is irrelevant. Now, next one. A man has drowned after diving into a reservoir to rescue his girlfriend's daughter from the water. Girl slipped when trying to catch a ball while playing with the man and her mother. The girl got herself out, but the man got into difficulties. Then 2 hours later, officers recovered the man's body from the water. The report will be submitted to the police and the coroner. Look at the responses. 5-2. There were more responses before. Have you by any chance? Okay, so one person has left, I know that. But why do we have only 2 here? One says 5, the other says 2. Okay. What is 2? 2 is the girl slipped when trying to catch a ball, and 5 is the. Okay, let's read without these two and see if it makes any difference. You read to yourself. I'm not reading aloud. Okay. What do you think is the answer? If you have read it again.
2.
2, right? If you remove the fifth one now, there's still something that is lacking in the sentence, right? But if you remove 2 and read the paragraph, actually, it's all right. Okay, there is no point, there is no hiccups anywhere in the paragraph. Okay. So do this whenever you're confused whether something is, relevant or irrelevant, you read the paragraph again. And if you spot something that you think is irrelevant, then you omit that part. Paragraph makes perfect sense even without it, then probably you don't have to write it up. And this is important, not just from the point of view of knowing, ensuring unity. Unity is also important because it ensures that you don't write more than what is required, right? Writing more than what is required can make your writing clumsy and overcrowded. which can result in the reader not exactly understanding what you want to present. So to bring down ambiguity, to remain to the point and all that, it's always good to do this activity. Whichever one you think is irrelevant, you skip that part and read the rest. If it is okay without, if it sounds okay to you and it makes perfect, um, sense and gives it a completeness, then probably you do not need it. Next one, this one, before starting an exercise program, consulting a physician is particularly important for the sportsman. According to a report, sports injuries among baby boomers increased by 33% from 1991 to 1998. In 1998, baby boomers suffered more than 1 million sports injuries, which cost over $18.7 billion in medical expenses. The highest numbers of sports-related injuries came from bicycling, basketball, baseball. Common injuries were due to accidents or overuse and affected the knees, ankles, lower back, and shoulders. This is a very simple paragraph. Which one? Let's see the response. What's the answer? 1 and 5. So do this activity. You omit first 1 and then 5 and see which one is okay for you. Which one? It looks 1 to me. Do you also see this? Now that first sentence, before starting an exercise program, consulting a physician, the rest of the sentences are nothing about consulting physician or anything. Okay, it's completely irrelevant to the details. All the other sentences talk about sports injuries, right? How many, what kind, what does it together by the virtue of the topic, which is sports injuries. The first sentence does not do anything in that regard. So your answer is the first sentence. Okay, all right.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, okay. Now the second one. Yeah, this one I'm very interested in seeing how this has been. This has 4 responses. In contrast to subsequently, corruption is bad. Okay. Corruption. So some say corruption. Oh, sorry. But I have a few good. Only for change the order. Let's see this. South Africa faces several tough challenges because of corruption. And the second sentence is, the national soccer team is not doing very well. How can you connect these? I saw, for example, if you put an example, then will it work? Say, for example, the national soccer team is not doing very well. Are they both directly? Yeah, any responses that you have quickly? I think to me it should ideally be South Africa. I mean, there could be other replacements to what I'm saying, but the meaning has to remain the same. Okay. South Africa faces several tough challenges because of corruption.
Excuse me.
Yes, yes, go ahead. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
can we say like this, due to which national soccer team is also not doing very well?
So instead of writing due to which, you can use maybe say subsequently, right?
Okay.
Huh?
Okay.
Soccer team. Somebody I think already has mentioned that in one of the responses. So subsequently, the national soccer team is not doing very well, right? So giving reason. If you use for example, then it becomes difficult for you to connect it with the next sentence. Okay. If you say, for example, the national soccer team is not doing very well, then the next sentences that follow, they are not tying up very well with the usage. But subsequently, I think will work. Subsequently, the national soccer team is not doing very well. Okay. Corruption is bad for a country. What can you place there? Okay, so let's do this. If we use, for example, then South Africa faces several tough challenges because of corruption. For example, the national soccer team is not doing very well. Therefore, corruption is bad for a country. Moreover, or you can also use furthermore, right? Furthermore, some say corruption makes the currency weak. Okay. We need a new coach for Bafana. Fana, I don't think we need anything to connect there. Some say corruption makes. You can add things like in my opinion and all those kind of phrases also. Okay, so they're all considered as linking devices. Remember, we can use single words phrases or the whole sentence, right? So any of this works. So in my opinion, we need a new coach for Bafana, or I think, etc., etc. Right? We need a new coach for Bafana. Anything could go there. And the last sentence, you can add the contrast signposting. However, South Africa has a few good things going for it as until now. We've been talking about the corruption practices or whatever caused corruption in Africa or instances of corruption there. The last sentence, however, looking at the way it is written, South Africa has a few good things going for it as well, because it's a different idea. Okay, all this while we've been talking the negative aspects, but the last sentence gives you a glimpse of, the writer's intention to write something positive about it. So since this is a different thing than what is being already mentioned, there's a contrast happening, and that contrast is indicated using however. Other words you can use is nevertheless, nonetheless, all of those.
Can we say like this, having so many problems?
So let's read this together. Sorry?
Can we say like this, having so many problems, still South Africa has a few good things going on?
You can say, given all these problems, South Africa has a few good things going for it as well. Okay.
Okay.
If you want to use a phrase, then you can also say, given all of the above, South Africa has a few good things going for it as well. Or you could also use, something with, or though, anything is fine. If it is phrase you're looking for, then given all of the problems above, South Africa has a few good things going for it as well. That's also possible.
Okay.
So let me quickly reread this. South Africa faces several tough challenges because of corruption. The national soccer team, for example, the national soccer team is not doing very well. Therefore, corruption is bad for a country. Furthermore, some say corruption makes the currency weak. In my opinion, we need a new coach for. However, or nevertheless, South Africa has a few good things going for it as well. Okay, that makes sense to me. So see how it can connect these things, especially be a little conscious about this contrast. Okay, if within the same paragraph, the person tries to introduce a contrast to what has been talking about, then the transition device is completely changed. In the previous sentence, some say corruptions we use furthermore, okay, or you can also use moreover. So this is an instance of a transition device that is used to add to the previous sentence, corruption is bad for a country, right? Some say corruption makes the currency weak. And then the last one, I tried to, suggest something in order to mend this. So in my opinion, we need a new coach for Bafana. And the last sentence, because it is a change in the direction, I use the contrastive device, however. Okay. So explore all these transition devices, place them one by one between your sentences, and whenever you find the right catch, fix on. Is this understood to people who are listening?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, this last one, I'm going to make a note of this. I am going to use this writing that you have used. So we'll take it up while we are going to do the editing proofreading session in the last class. And we'll use your write-up in order to see how well you have constructed the paragraph. Okay. So this free writing task explanation, discussion, and the feedback would happen in the last class when we do the editing proofreading. Because unity, cohesion, and then other aspects of grammar, everything will be discussed together in your writing activity. Okay, I see that you have written the response. There are about 4 responses here. Okay, this will anyway be saved in my desk, but if you want to save your work, please do that as well, that you have an idea what you have written. Okay. All right. So thank you for today. If you have any doubts, you may ask, or else I'll see you next Monday. And we'll be discussing descriptive writing, how to write descriptive, this theory that and inputs that we have from these 2 sessions, and a few more specifically about descriptive paragraphs. All right.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Bye.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank
Have
you
a
so
good
much.
day.
Okay. Thank you. Same to you, and I'll see you next week. Okay.